Welcome to SVG-TV News for Wednesday, November 2nd, 2016. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Opposition leader Arnim Yusuf is suggesting that the government review and remove some of the items added to the tax list. During Friday's parliamentary session, Yusuf said a decision taken by the Dr. Ralph Gonsalves administration to add more items to the VAT list, such as sugar and salt, has affected the standard of living for the vulnerable.
$8 million or 11% increase in VAT revenue went on the wrong items and to harm those who could least afford it. I'm asking the government, I'm asking the Prime Minister in his capacity as Minister of Finance to review that situation. I did not regard it as a fair piece of legislation, and it didn't take into account sufficiently the various aspects of our economy and the state of our economy. But it brought revenue. $8 million in additional revenue. Every time I look at the piece of legislation, I looked at it last night about 3 times. As I said, I was very, very torn because the arguments at both levels are very strong.
In acknowledging Yusuf's concern, Prime Minister Gonsalves in response said while VAT was already placed on white sugar, the other popular commodities were added as a result of health and wellness concerns.
In addition to the revenue issue, very fundamentally was the health and wellness question, which we have been asked repeatedly on by PAHO, by CAFA, CARICOM. I just want to say that at the same time, that over the last 3 years, the rate of inflation in this country has been at the level of more or less 0.1%. So it's not a question that we're not in a situation of fuel inflation. But as always, as Minister of Finance, I have under review every year, indeed on an ongoing basis, the tax regime in the country. And that is why from time to time you see we come with tweaking.
Fisher folk of Calico are expected to receive a boost in the future as a Jamaican-based company is said to be in talks with the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to open a lobster harvesting plant in that area. This was announced by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves as he spoke at a handing over ceremony at the Calico Fisheries complex on Tuesday. According to the Prime Minister, his government is in early stages of talks with Rainforest Seafoods on the initiative and has agreed in principle to allocate a parcel of land near the Coast Guard base for use in the project, which is expected to yield benefits to the community.
And the idea is for them to set up a plant there, mainly for lobster and conch. And in the off-season, to also do fish. They have operations in Jamaica and in Belize. It's the family which is connected to the Sandals tourism operations. And I have been told by the people who advise in fisheries, and I've also been told by those who go to the fisher folk, and they said that they would be able to harvest in the region of 500,000 pounds of lobster a year for export without affecting our local consumption.
The Prime Minister also used the opportunity to call for the proper organization of fishery centers, which he said members of the private sector should consider.
In Beckway, we had a company and we had leased it out to a company. and under certain conditions. And I will encourage the private sector to get involved in helping to run these centers. The fishermen themselves, fisherfolk, form themselves into a company and want to run them, and we work out the arrangements.
While thanking the Japanese government for its continued support, PM Gonzalez noted that energy efficiency at the fisheries centers across the country must be placed as a priority as part of ensuring a great level of sustainability of the sector.
Because what we do not want is to have these new facilities and the electricity bill is so high that, as we say in our country, the dance can't pay for the light. As a result, I would like very much to suggest, as a matter of urgency, that despite the affirmation of the improved energy efficiency of these new installations, that we have some renewable energy installations to help to propel these facilities. And in that case, I'm talking about solar photovoltaic systems to run these facilities.
Parallel to the concept of someone being able to seek justice after their rights have been violated is a concept that if someone sleeps on his or her rights, that right is lost. That's according to Queen's Counsel Panel Campbell on his weekly television program, The Law on You, on Monday, where he discussed the topic, the concept of limitation, noting that the concept of limitation is when persons by law are allowed a period of time within which they must have the wrong brought against them reversed. Campbell outlined that if that given time passes, persons will lose that right to seek redress.
For you to get redress for the violation of your rights, you have to bestir yourself in a timely manner. If you want the courts to help you to get your rights observed, and if they are violated, to get them redressed, you have to take steps within a certain period of time, within which, if you want to make a complaint in the courts of law, you have to take action. And if the given time passes and you have done nothing, then you lose the right to do something about it.
The Queen's Counsel noted that it is important for persons to be advised when they have grievances against others as to how long they can wait before the action is brought before the court.
Technicalities governing the calculation of the time. When does time start from? If the law gives you 6 years to sue somebody for having done something to you, when does the period begin to run? That is important. Once you know the date on which the period starts to run, then you will know the date on which the period ends, because you will simply apply the limitation period to the calculation. So if you have a cause of action in nuisance or negligence or any other tort, 6 years is your limitation period. You know when the wrong was committed, and then 6 years from that.
Noting that there are certain expectations where matters are still addressed after the stipulated time, Campbell added that taking action is only legitimate once the matter is filed in court.
In the case, for example, of personal injuries, the court has a discretion to give you more time, more than the 3 years. Somebody has done something to you and you know nothing about it. Does the period of limitation begin to run from when they did the thing, if you didn't know anything about it? Or does the period run from the date you found out? Well, the law says either from the date when you knew about it or the date when you ought to have known if you had exercised reasonable diligence. The law gives you a reasonable length of time. I mean, 12 years for land is a long time. 6 years for contract and tort, fairly long time. 3 years person injuries, fairly long time. The law gives you a lot of time, but use the time wisely. Don't let the time pass by and then complain when somebody has taken advantage of you.
Parents here have the opportunity to afford their children a university education at a cheaper cost. Representatives of the University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus are in the state to heighten awareness of the franchise program. According to lecturer at the St. Augustine campus, Dr. Darren Conrad, the program allows students the opportunity to pursue the first year of their studies through the SVG Community College, after which they will continue the second and final year of their studies in Trinidad at the campus. Dr. Conrad said it is a viable option by way of reducing the overall cost of tertiary level education at an accredited university.
Is a franchise operation in that the student is a student of the University of the West Indies at St. Augustine, but they're being hosted by the SVGCC in that is the conduit that we use and the resources that are available to us. But they are students of the University of the West Indies resident in their home country. The course is the same. The delivery mechanism, all of the exams come from St. Augustine, all of the teaching material comes to the instructors here from St. Augustine, and it is delivered here, but it is the same structure of the course. So if you were to speak with a student in one of the courses, let's say in economics or management studies, and they're reading year one courses, the foundation courses, and some of the other foundation courses and the year one courses, they would be speaking the same language, so to speak, in that they are being exposed to the same type of material. The only difference is that they are here physically, and that is an agreement again that was made in 1996, I think, where the university embarked on this mission to sort of assist some of the member states in developing their human capital base and building capacity in the region and throughout the region by using the University of the West Indies.
The UWI lecturer noted that the program has proven to be successful in other islands such as St. Kitts and St. Lucia, but has seen a lackluster performance here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He said it might be a case where persons are not fully aware of the dynamics of the program. Meantime, Administrative Assistant in the Department of Economics, Joel Jordan, said the program has been effective and noted that there are a variety of programs available for persons to take advantage of.
Yeah, the programs being offered right now, we have the BSc in Accounting, BSc in Economics, the BSc in Management Studies, in Psychology, the BSc in Sociology, and in Political Sciences. The thing is that a lot of the courses that we do, they are very similar by program. And what could happen is even when they come to the St. Augustine campus, say they're interested in maybe international relations, and they started off with a BSc in Political Sciences, it makes a very easy transition. They might need to just do one more level 1 course, and then they will be able to proceed into their second level.
Director of the SVG Community College, Nigel Scott, said that the franchise program is essentially a middle ground to assist in an easy transition for students to adapt to campus life. He added that the college curriculum is on par with that of the UWI and said that this will help prepare students for the workload which comes with attaining a university education.
The college, you may have an 8 o'clock class, or you may not have a class until 10 o'clock. And then you may have a class at 10 o'clock and then another class at 1 o'clock. And then you may go until 6, it depends. So I think that varied sort of approach is what challenges many students. They are misled when they see the time, the gaps between classes, and they think, oh, this is a lot of free time I have. They relax, they put their feet up, they lime, they go to tongue, they do all sorts of other things, and then the work catches up with them prior to exams, and then they're in real trouble. Because what we're realizing is that the students themselves seem inclined to want to go on a campus, and perhaps it is the parents that we need to reach to realize that this is a cost-saving measure. And if your son, if your daughter is interested in going to St. Augustine to do a degree in management or accounting or economics, as the case may be, that this is a viable option. For about $6,500 EC dollars, you could complete the first year of your 3-year degree program right here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
A trough system is currently affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, said an update received from the local Met Office indicated that the trough system will continue to generate unstable conditions across the northern and central portions of the island chain. As a result, cloudiness, pockets of moderate to heavy showers, thunderstorms and occasional gusty winds will continue to spread across the islands. Analysis suggests that these conditions will continue to affect the island during the next 24 hours. Residents in areas prone to flooding and landslides are asked to continue to exercise caution. NEMO says through the St. Vincent Met Office, it will continue to monitor the situation. There is concern that curious onlookers who flank to sites where there is a fire can cause interference and more hazards. Speaking to SVG-TV News on Tuesday afternoon at Longwall, where a fire destroyed 2 dwelling homes and almost destroyed a third, Station Sergeant John Henry of the Fire Department said when persons, especially those with vehicles, drive onto the scene, they sometimes get into the way of the firefighters doing their job.
Well, I would advise persons to basically stay clear of where we actually fighting the fire, because what the problem we have is that a lot of people just come on the scene and want to look on, and they bring the vehicle and they park the vehicle sometimes along the road, and then we have problem, getting in and out of the scene when you have vehicle and people. So I would advise person when there's a fire is to stay clear of the scene and allow the firefighters to do their job.
Because we had to walk a good way down as well. We just couldn't come down as well as SVG.
Right. Well, that is what it should be. It shouldn't be on the scene, because coming on the scene is creating additional problem for us.
With the big fire trucks.
With the big fire trucks.
And Minister of Health and the Environment, Luke Brown, explained that for persons to come on the scene where there is heavy smoke, it is not wise. He also strengthened the point for inquisitive onlookers to resist the urge to flock to fire scenes, as this can disrupt the saving of lives and property.
Well, we are always attracted to a dramatic story, whatever that story is. But I mean, obviously the firefighters, I'm sure, would have some responsibility in regulating what is happening around the fire and so on. So I mean, it falls ultimately within their purview. And based on all indications, I think they did a pretty good job in being able to balance the curiosity of man with the need for them to discharge their functions well. So congratulations to them for actually responding and being able to do something. I mean, we still have the loss of, I think, 2 houses here. So, I mean, that is always tragic. I think their intervention and some of the vigilance of the neighborhood has caused a further house to be saved. So we just like to appreciate that fact. And we, talking from the standpoint of the government, always strive to provide the best possible services, including fire services, so that we could minimize the loss that people suffer on occasions such as these.
The doors of the St. Martin's Secondary School were open to past students on Monday, October 24th, as part of the school's mentorship program. Over the past 2 years, the principal and staff have invited past students to have 30-minute motivational sessions with the students to encourage them to aim for academic excellence. During their individual sessions, the mentors engaged the students in discussions which looked at, among other things, the effects of drugs on teens and manners and behavior.
I'm sure that you've all heard that saying that first impression counts. You have heard it, and it is true, it counts. Whenever you are, of course, approaching someone who you are meeting for the first time, They are in a position to make an assessment of you, of your person, your personality, your demeanor, your disposition, your understanding. They are in a position to do that. Do not take it lightly to think that they are not thinking already and trying to make an assessment of who you are and how you may behave and how you may act and how they may perceive you, as a matter of fact. So you have to begin to take the what I call defensive and preemptive approach.
The students were also reminded to acknowledge God in their personal journeys.
My mother was mother and father to me, and this secondary school made a very big difference in my life. And what I'm going to say to you today, it is what made a difference in my life and been carrying me throughout life for this time. And I want you to follow this principle in every aspect of your life, and it will help you as well to go places that you don't even expect you will reach. First thing I want you to accept in your life is that God must be first place in your life. There ain't no two ways about it.
The session was well received by the students, who said they learned a lot through the program and expressed their desire for the mentors to return. The mentors in turn commended the principal and staff of the institution for the initiative and left the students with some timely advice.
If you listen to the lyrics of a number of college students, a lot of them can be quite educational and they learn a lot. And I'm going to end with the lyrics of one voice from a song from the Mighty Sparrow. It says, children go to school and learn well. Otherwise, later on in life, you will get real help. Without an education in your head, the whole life will become miserable head. But there's simply no room in this whole wide world for an uneducated little boy or girl. So don't follow idle company. Don't let them lead you astray. To earn tomorrow, but to learn today. Thank you.
Veteran Calypsonian Grantley Iper Constance is emphasizing the importance of getting the youth more involved in community activities such as sports to help curb crime. On SVG-TV's Leadership in Focus program coming up this evening at 8:30, Constance outlined the need for youngsters to be guided by mentors and better parenting in the home. He noted that by engaging in sports, young people will burn off frustration and excessive energy.
So the tolerance and, for one another, it's very thin. We don't tolerate one another as before, long ago. And you know, the community is important, as I say.
Right.
Long ago, as a sports personnel, playing football and things. We used to be playing football from 9 o'clock in the morning and Sunday morning.
Burn off the energy.
Yes, we used to be playing 9 o'clock. From the time we hit Bishop Court, we playing all day until about 2 o'clock.
Wow.
When we finish now, everybody who playing on the skins shirt,
right,
who playing from one side to the other side, everybody join together. We're either going to go to the beach,
right,
or we're going to drink some more by the shop.
Come on.
So that
and rock cake.
That's right. So people who was vexed with one another, they have no reason to vex now because we drinking or we going in the sea and
frolic and have fun.
That's right. That's right. But you know, as I say, things is not like long ago.
True.
The community is being split up.
Grave sites across the country have been cleaned up and decorated with flowers and candles as Vincentians, particularly Catholics, pay their respects to departed loved ones as they celebrate All Souls Day. All Souls Day is celebrated on November 2nd by Catholics worldwide and is a holy and solemn celebration in the Roman Catholic Church commemorating all of those who have died. Yesterday, November 1st, Catholics would have celebrated All Saints' Day dedicated to the saints of the Church, particularly the children.